value addition, because what better way to make more money? Does it look familiar to you? Sweet potatoes. Well, here on NTV Seeds of Gold, we see gold.
Sweet potato, it's a miracle crop. So sweet potato can grow anywhere. And sweet potato is not supposed to be having some fertilizers. Once you put on fertilizers, sweet potato will become more vegetative. Then down you will have nothing.
Oh, really? Learn how to add value.
It can be consumed as food.
Yeah.
It can be taken as like crunches. It's not only for eating, because even like these ones, these vines, you can process them for silage.
Poultry farming is one of the most promising agribusiness ventures today. But behind the promise lies a long list of challenges that farmers grapple with every day. In this episode, we revisit the poultry business to both highlight the struggles as well as explore real practical solutions, from managing flock health to improving productivity. We are unpacking the lessons farmers wish they knew earlier, or will be glad to be getting right on time. We are cracking the poultry puzzle. Backed by popular demand, we are revisiting the dynamic world of poultry farming. Whether you are raising layers, broilers, local chicken, or just starting out, this episode is tailor-made for you. From disease outbreak control to raising feed costs, let alone what the best feed is, and the market frustrations, we are tackling most common challenges farmers face, offering practical, expert-backed solutions. Bukola's Muchibi will be back with more tried and tested feeding tips that could transform your poultry hustle into a thriving business. One of the most pressing challenges is disease. For both layers and broilers, an outbreak can cause devastating losses, sometimes wiping out an entire flock in just a few days. The real danger lies in how quietly these illnesses begin. Therefore, early detection, good hygiene practices, and building the bird's immunity are far from optional. They are necessary for survival in this business. In Tororo, we met a local chicken farmer who has taken an alternative approach. Faced with limited finances, she turned to herbal remedies like aloe vera, neem leaves, and pawpaw seeds, all extracted from plants in her backyard. Not only have these helped boost flock immunity, but they have also cut down the costs of commercial treatments. This story is quite the reminder that innovation often starts at home. Local chicken farming can be a very profitable business, especially if you do it right. We are still in Toro exploring the farmers who have found the gold in the seed. And we have met Athieno Grace Mary, someone whose story is something to write home about.
In Uganda, local chicken farming is mostly carried out in rural and low-income areas. The farmers usually rear indigenous breeds of chickens, which are well adapted to the environment and local conditions. Though not commonly done with commercial intentions, this form of poultry farming can be quite the chunk of gold, as we get to find out from our farmer. My name is Akela Grace Mary Athieno, a poultry farmer from Bobada Sea. When I ring a bell, they come to me. I give them food. They come to me. I even carry them as they eat closer to me. I also rear turkeys. They eat from here. I also keep chicks here. I also keep guinea fowls here. When I ring this bell, they come and even fly towards me. I catch some of them and direct them to the feed.
So why did you choose to venture into local chicken?
Local chicken are easy to keep. There is market. People prefer local birds to exotic birds. I can use free-range system. and they can still have something to eat. I also use local herbs found easily to treat them. It also helps me. I pay for fees for my children, and from the cells, I have bought cows from this. I also cook for my visitors. I use the products to supplement nutrition needs for my household, because even in hospital, we are told to partake of this local egg because they are rich in nutrients.
So how did you start? We're looking at how many chicken did you start with, how many do we have now, and what are your plans for the future?
I used to dig for people. One day, I did the usual casual labor and I was paid 5,000. So I used the money to buy chicken. And that one hen gave me chicks that I started with. In the future, I would like to venture into layers. I would like to get 5 trays per day and earn like 50,000 per day. It's easy to rear. I also started with one bird. There is market throughout the year, no specific season. You have ability to educate your children.
So how much on average do you make out of this venture?
I get averagely 700,000 Uganda shillings whenever I sell. Sometimes 300,000. People who have visitors or need them come to me instead of me going far.
Are there some challenges that you face, some problems you face with this venture?
Sometimes they are poisoned by neighbors. There are also some diseases that kill my birds, especially the swelling on the eyes. Otherwise, overall, the benefits outweigh the problems or challenges, since most of the time, people who have parties come and buy most of my birds. I also weigh on who is buying with better prices. I have bought land. I have managed to educate my children from this poultry business. I have bought cows, goats from this poultry business. I have managed to buy soap and other household things. Some challenges, some predators like birds come and eat them. There are thieves also who break in and steal some of the chicken.
So we have a lady taking care of her chicken. Started small, it's getting bigger, and it seems to be working for her. What are the benefits of the local chicken vis-a-vis broilers and layers?
Basically, local chicken, when we look at rearing them, it's quite not as expensive as is to rear the broilers and the layers, because more often than not they take care of themselves. Yeah. Then when you look at them, their nutritional value is quite higher, definitely, than the broilers and layers, because the broilers, layers, we do a lot of feed additives here and there, so they're not organic enough. Yeah, and local chicken, of course, they are resistant to diseases, they are resistant to harsh weather, so you're going to have very, very minimal work taking care of these chicken.
I see. Feeding is another major concern for poultry farmers. The cost of feed takes up the largest portion of production expenses, and any misstep, whether in quantity, timing, or storage, can affect the entire flock. Ideally, feed should be bought before the chicken arrive. This allows for a smooth transition from brooding to growth without delays that can weaken the birds. It also gives farmers time to properly inspect and store the feed in a clean, dry, and rodent-free environment. Note that poor storage can introduce mold and toxins into the feed, leading to a health issue that often goes unnoticed until it's too late.
Kuchemmere abantu bakitya nnyo. Bagamba enkoko buli wezeeyongera n'emmere ate nno si yalayisi. Okisobodde otya? Kuba tulaba enkoko 5,000. Okikola otya?
Ekyemmere kyo era kituufu. Emmere si nyangu ya kumanejinga. Emmere olina kwetegeka. Olina okwetegeka first. Olina okuba olina ssente zinakusobozesa okuliisa enkoko zino emyezi 5 nga tonaba kujjamu. Tulina okuba oli ready for that.
Osiba omutima n'ogamba kansooke nteekemu ez'emmere ezange profit njazikwasaganya edda.
Our expert from Bukola Chemical Industries has a great lesson in what is best for the birds feeding.
A farmer has spent a lot on feeding. Now you leave your feeds in a shed where rain in this rainy season will find it. It rains on it, it gets wet, and it is going to be unpalatable now, unfit for you to feed it to your animals or to your birds. So you also have to get a very good store for you to keep these feeds. You must keep them away from rodents, rats. Remember, rats, birds, these wild birds are a source of disease. Make sure you have a good storage for your feeds. Now, the other thing is that when you are formulating your feed, make a feed that can be used in the shortest time possible, maximum 4 days. If worst goes to the worst, make it a feed that can run you for 7 days. But you may find that a farmer can formulate feeds which will take him for 2 weeks or even a month. I've seen farmers because he has the money to make very many tons of feeds. He doesn't want to be disturbed. He doesn't have time. You know, there is phone call farming nowadays. He calls the person where he mixes his feeds. They make for me 10 tons of feeds. But remember, your birds can only take 3 tons in a week. You make 10. The seven are going to stay in store for a full month. Remember that in our concentrates, there are minerals, there are vitamins. There are a lot of those vitamins and minerals are denatured by heat. After you have formulated your feed, make sure that this feed is the feed that you're going to consume in around 3-4 days. If you go further than 4 days, at least let it not go beyond 7 days. Because this feed, after you have formulated it, it will gain some heat. And this heat will make this feed mold. And after it has molded, it will create what we call aflatoxins. These aflatoxins are going to be very dangerous to the birds. And that's where you will find the birds dilating brown feces and they say, coccidiosis, coccidiosis, coccidiosis. You start treating coccidiosis, it is your birds, it is your feed, which caked, which molded, and it is now unfit. The birds are telling you that the feed is unfit for our intestines. So farmers, I will urge you that when you are formulating a feed, make sure that you make a ration that is going to be consumed in the nearest time possible. 3-4 days are enough for you to make a feed for that period of time.
We met a young farmer who, after suffering early losses due to poor feed storage, invested in sealed metallic bins and built a small shed that keeps feed cool and dry. Today, not only has he minimized losses, but he also has started packaging and selling feed to fellow farmers in his area.
The challenges that farmers face is the feed they give to their birds. You find that a farmer is very motivated, is very ready, is very positioned to run a successful business. Unfortunately, things like inputs, which is feed and others, limit them. If you get bad or poor feed, you find that your business is going to be affected to run, or rather to survive. We came up and decided to take care of this challenge. We are using local inputs, maize, maize bran, fish, soya beans, and others that everyone is using. Now, the difference is not in what you use. The difference is in the process of producing them and the managing of inputs. Because some people buy maize from areas perhaps where this maize has not been prepared well. because you need to understand what is quality maize, what is quality soya beans, what is quality maize brand. In other words, you need to manage your supply chain of inputs very well. Have reliable customers or reliable supply of inputs who you clearly define what is the high quality, what is a good product that you're going to use to produce the feeds. And that's what makes the difference. The other thing is making sure that you provide adequate quantities. Because sometimes instead of putting, let's say, 100 kilograms of maize, some producers choose to cheat on the process to maybe put much less. And then when you give such feed to the birds, you realize that they take longer to grow and ultimately get into production, which is taking away what would be profit from the farmer. And these are some of the challenges that we are trying to solve.
You know, after feeding, there are some diseases that we get because of poor feeding. Poor feeding can result to malnutritional diseases. So there are those number of diseases that I can mention and tell you that if you poorly feed your animals, you will find that the birds start laying soft-shelled eggs. Just know that your feed has a deficiency of calcium. When you see your birds are starting to become lame, just know that there is wrong with your feed. There is lack of calcium in your feeds. You see your birds laying very tiny eggs. Just know there is somewhere you compromised with the nutrition of your feeds. The protein itself is not enough for the bird. You remember I've told you, I'll emphasize this, an animal will always give you what is in excess. For it, what it does, when you give it a poor feed, it will eat it. Use whatever little energy is in that feed to do its maintenance of the body. But after it has maintained its body and there is nothing in excess, it will go minus producing for you an egg. It will go minus giving you that required muscles in the broiler. That's why at Bukola we emphasize that you come and we teach you how you can feed your animals or birds using our feed concentrate called well-fed animal concentrate, and you'll achieve the best out of your poultry farming. And poultry farming will always be a profitable business, and will always earn big in your farming. Now, at Bukola, we also do supplementary feeding, whereby in feeding, there is what we call supplementary feeding, whereby you will provide a vitamin, a good formulated vitamin. At Bukola, we have what we call Aminovit. Aminovit is a supplement which has vitamins, minerals, and other trace elements. So those trace elements and minerals will do a supplementary meal for the birds, whereby it is not only going to supplement, because when you find in vitamins, vitamins are they will boost your immunity. The vitamins majorly boost immunity. Now, a bird which has a low immunity will always find it very sick, unproductive, and you name it. Now, also in Bukola, we have another supplement called Calphos D3, which is a calcium and phosphorus plus a vitamin D3. This product is majorly supposed to supplement on what a farmer might have gone wrong in making the complete ration for the birds. Calcium is majorly. Now, this calcium that we always mix in our feeds, it is not the calcium that the birds can mobilize very fast for it to achieve the required nutrients out of it. But the calcium that we have is in its final digestive mobilizable form, whereby the body just takes it in and you see changes within 24 hours. For you, when you find that birds have been laying soft-shelled eggs and you use our calcium called Calphos D3, you're going to see the birds improving their egg shells the next day. Then we have another supplement called Hepato. Hepato is a liver tonic. Farmers are always challenged with administration of antibiotics. You know, when a farmer's messed up with feeding, the only option where a farmer will run to is to start now pumping the birds with antibiotics. Remember that when you're feeding, when you're giving antibiotics to an animal, of course the antibiotics will do their work, will cure what they can cure, but they will not cure a malnutrition or disease. Now, Hepato will relieve the liver. Remember the liver. I must also tell the farmers that the liver is the site of absorption. Even the feed we are talking about, that is where the feed, the nutrients are taken into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
Now, the liver has a sieve, akasengeja, whereby it is in this site where the part I'm calling about the liver, called echibumba in our local language. It is the site where drugs, the antibiotics that I'm talking about, they are taken into the body. Now, the liver, after it has sieved, it will remain with the residues, the byproducts of, let's say now, the nutrients, the feeds that you gave the birds, and the antibiotics. Now, for you to drain the liver, to relieve the liver from the byproducts, the waste products of antibiotics and nutrients, we have a product called Hepato. Hepato, it is a product, a supplementary feeding material to get the liver relieved of its residues, its waste products. We also have another supplementary feed stuff called B complex. The B complex is a vitamin. There are a number of B complexes. There is B2, B3, B6, and B12. These vitamins are important in also helping the bird gain that immunity, especially at the tender stage. These B complex, the vitamins that are in this product, the B complex, also help the bird to improve its feed intake. Why am I talking about this supplementary feeding is that feeding does not end at making a ration of broken maize bran and our concentrate well fed. But these supplementary feeding is also, they are also important. Like I've told you, there are diseases that because we lack vitamins. So in summary, when a farmer is trying to select what to give to his animals in terms of source of feeds, a farmer has to be very critical and take a critical analysis and study of what he or she is going to use in feeding the animals. I may also bring up this. Initially, our farmers have been using our local raw material, like the mukene, the so-called silverfish. There is what we call sunflower, cotton, the seashells. Locally we call it akasonko. But farmers were challenged with these raw materials not being as good as enough for them to. They were adulterated. Let me put it forward. They were adulterated. They were mixed with a lot of undigestible ingredients. You may find that a farmer goes to buy 100 kilograms of mukene, and only to realize that you will only get 70 kilograms of mukene. Now, this will in turn affect, it will impact directly on the gross energy, like I've told you, the gross energy. A farmer is expecting to have 100 kilograms of mukene in his feed ration, in his complete feed, only to find that there are only 70 kilograms. And this directly impacts on the gross energy. And remember that I've told you, in the strata of the energy flow, the net energy down here will be affected. So farmers, I'm urging to you that when you are selecting a feed material or raw material that you're going to use in formulating a ration, a complete ration for your birds, you must take a critical analysis on what food value are in this raw material. Like you've asked me about rice. We can use rice. We can use also the wheat. Farmers are not informed about that. We can also use wheat. Wheat is engano. Wheat, we can use wheat as a whole grain wheat.
Yeah.
We can also use rice. We can use, I've told you that, broken maize. I'm calling it broken maize because you cannot you cannot give a whole grain maize to your birds. I'll tell the farmers that after you have made your complete ration, supplementary feeding is also important. Like I've told you, there is what we call, we have a Calphos D3, which is important in provision of calcium and phosphorus. In another episode, I'll explain how the vitamin D3 helps the calcium and the phosphorus. You know, for the body to take in the calcium and phosphorus, a vitamin D3 has to be in presence. That's why Bukola came to rescue farmers in these supplementary feedings, that you provide something that is in its final use or in its final need of the bird.
Yeah.
When there is a deficiency, remember that when there is a deficiency, let's say soft shells. A farmer comes crying, my birds are laying soft-shelled eggs. We give you a Calphos. A Calphos D3. It is a calcium, phosphorus, and a vitamin D3. Now, these calcium and phosphorus, for the body to use these for quick taking in or mobilization of the calcium and phosphorus, a vitamin D3 has to be in presence. So farmers come to Bukola and ask for this supplement called Calphos D3. Like I've told you, farmers are always on a run to look out for the best antibiotic to use to cure some diseases that are affecting the farmers. Remember, I've told you, not all diseases are supposed to be for antibiotics. Some diseases are nutritional diseases. Some diseases are brought about by you not supplementing these feeds with vitamins. There is a vitamin deficiency demand for the birds for them to grow. Farmers there is always a case in farmers. Birds will always swell and start producing a lot of tears. Farmers will rush to injecting these animals with oxytetracyclines, tyrosines, not knowing that these birds are lacking vitamins. Now, after you have subjected these birds with vitamins, you will see the eyes getting better. So, farmers, proper feeding, proper selection of a feeding raw material will always give you a good success, a good profitable poultry business, and you will always achieve big.
Let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, we will talk about housing, medicines, and so much more. Please do feel free to join the conversation by scanning that QR code on your TV and talk to us about the current topic or anything farming related. We are at your beck and call. Don't go away. When it comes to poultry farming, housing must never be underestimated because things will go very wrong. From poor ventilation to overcrowding and predator attacks, the consequences of a poorly built poultry coop can be costly. A well-designed poultry house is not only about giving your birds a roof over their heads, but also about airflow, temperature control, spacing, and ease of cleaning. These small details often determine whether a farmer thrives or struggles. Bear in mind that birds need space to move, clean air to breathe, and dry, safe floors to rest on. Without these basics, even the best feed and vaccines will not deliver results. In Wakiso, we met a farmer who, after several failed attempts, perfected her poultry pen design and has since turned her knowledge into a side hustle. She now builds customized pens for other farmers at a fee, of course. Each design tailored to the size and type of flock. It's an expertise that is boosting her income and strengthening poultry production in the community. When Makula was working abroad as exported labor, also known as Cheyo, she took inspiration from a friend with a pen house and asked her father to help her set up one.
When I came back from abroad, I had this pen house. You understand? So there is my friend I visited. She had a good pen house. Remember, we always used to be online. You are like me, I started, and she's like, I started too. She sent me her pen house and it was really amazing. So I copied it. I told my dad I want something like that. So my dad did that when I was here. So I put it into my mind. From there I was like, I think I can do this. So I posted it. I was like, look at my pen house. It is permanent. I gave them the prices. People were like, Makula, I want you to do something like that for me. I want exactly the same. So I was like, you give me this. And I was like, okay. So I told my dad, I'm going to build a pen house, but I don't know. My dad was like, you can do it. Actually, my first site, I went with my dad. My mom was in charge. So we went together with Tata Makula. He started building it with some of his friends.
Makula is proud to have ventured into business and has assembled a team to help her establish chicken houses.
So I learned each and everything. From that day, I created my own team for construction. Actually, I have it. If you want to rent it, you inbox me. I give you my builders, they do it for you. As long as we can agree on some charges, you understand? So even that one is a job. I do many things. I have built more than 30. Yes. Like of even recent, like last week, there is a one we built. There's one we built. We posted it already, but so far we have posted more than that. So far, no challenges, because if a client comes in and is like, Makula, I want to go in for this pen house, I have this kind of money. I'm like, the money is enough or it is not enough. So I always advise them, maybe you can take more time, you save for the pen house, or maybe we can reduce on the feeds of the pen house. We do something small, you understand? So we agree.
She provides information on the necessary requirements.
If you are building a pen house, you have to make sure that you give it a good foundation. One, we limit water. You understand? Water is not good, it is not healthy for our birds. It will make them sick, get sick of this feet, you understand, even these cobs. So it is not healthy. So we mind about the foundation. At least even though it is temporary, I tell you, take a buroka one, see at least 2 courses, water. 2, you have to make sure we put this wire mesh, you'll see around. We put wire mesh, why? It is very galvanized. Whether it is a rat, whether it is a pushcart, it can't penetrate inside. So that is enough for safety. Sometimes I always tell people, if you have money, you can put some good bricks, like you build permanent security for the thieves, you know. Yeah, but if you don't have money, you use timber, you use wood, but at the end of the day, you end up doing maintenance. So cheap things are always expensive. Yeah, I always tell people, take time. If you get money, come we build. But mostly, aeration matters. You have to make sure there is enough light and enough air to penetrate in. Roofing. Now you see at this roofing, there is no leakage. You understand? It is really so amazing. So it makes the birds safe. The rain does not reach the pen house, so it will be dry all the time. The light is good. You can see the birds are enjoying, you understand?
Price might be a bit of a concern to some of you, but she's quite open to negotiation. She provides us with estimates of the costs involved.
Whether you're going to come to Makula or you're going to go to another person, we are like builders. If you know that I'm going to rent this house, you'll find it that a single room is 12 by 12. Same applies to local chicken business if you are doing a pen house. So if you come to me, Makula, I want to construct a pen house for 100 birds. Of course, I'll just tell you, this is the price. And you are like, Makula, the price is high. I tell you, it's okay, my dear. Let me give you the fits you take to your builder. And I'm sure, even though you go to your builder, if those are the same measurements, things don't change in quotation. You understand? If you know that I'm taking that feet by 15, that is a 500 pen house. Of course, the builder will just get to know that it is taking 24 iron sheets. You understand? It is taking 60 big trees. It is taking 2 trips of bricks. So things don't change. You understand? The only thing which is changing, it is maybe labor. We have temporary and permanent. You understand? So for me, I build permanent. However, even we can try to build temporarily for our clients as long as we talk. But mainly, I specialize in permanent. We can rotate around in 5 million. So that is the figure we always, even though you build it yourself, that is the figure you'll end in. It is just a matter of saying, you'll add me this amount for my labor and time.
Vaccination and treatment are the backbone of flock health, but they are also where many farmers either fall short or go broke trying to keep up. Vaccination should never be optional. It's the first line of defense against deadly diseases like Newcastle, Gumboro. Remember that timing is everything, and missing even one dose can undo months of hard work. That's why farmers are encouraged to work closely with veterinary officers or extension workers to plan a proper schedule, especially in high-risk areas. While commercial drugs are effective, they are not always affordable, especially for small-scale farmers. But as we saw in Tororo and Soroti, some farmers are finding alternative solutions In Sorority, a local farmer shared how he uses herbal remedies from his burner plantation to treat coccidiosis and respiratory infections in local chicken. Same case was in Tororo with aloe vera, taking the gold. Their methods may be traditional, but their results are modern: low mortality, vibrant flocks, and sustainable costs. Take note that while opting for herbal remedies, knowing your environment is very important. For many farmers, that kind of wisdom has kept their poultry ventures alive when money is low. But for a sure deal, Bukola Chemical Industries' vet team has the solutions in store for you.
Yeah, more often than not, we assume that the local chicken don't fall sick, but now they actually do, especially with Newcastle. So we recommend that at least once every month or once every 2 months, you vaccinate your birds against Newcastle. You know, Newcastle is a very, very, very dangerous disease. It can wipe them out. And then secondly, of course, they take very, very long to grow.
So apart from Newcastle, are there other diseases that affect these birds, and how can they be managed?
Yeah, there are other diseases like pulloram disease, like fall pox, and but we might not really get them in our local chicken because of their resistance. But management really could come down to a few drugs. We have some drugs on the market that can alleviate some of these problems. We have additives like aminovits or minerals that can boost the energy, the immune system, and you find that we can alleviate these problems. Yes.
So we're looking at a woman in a very rural area, and she cited a few remedies that she would use for her birds. Yep. She had aloe vera, she had eucalyptus, pawpaw leaves, and more. So say we're dealing with a number of farmers in rural areas.
Yes.
What are some of, are there any other remedies they can tap into?
Yeah, I see there's the conventional way of doing things, and then there's well, the cultural way or the rural way, as you said. I do not dispute the rural way. I do not say, I can't say it does not work. Yeah. The aloe vera works. I've seen them give pawpaw leaves, as you said. I've seen them give yam leaves as well. So if it works, because this is organic, it's not going to affect, because we are looking at public health here, it's not going to affect the humans. So if it works, then why not use it? But I choose to go the conventional way. As a veterinary surgeon, I choose to go the conventional way. Yes, we have amino acids on the market, we have minerals on the market, we have vitamins on the market. All these can boost, they can boost production, for that matter.
This is Seeds of Gold, so of course we're going to dip into the markets. Now let's talk about markets. Raising birds is one thing, selling them is another. Many poultry farmers are frustrated by fluctuating prices, unreliable buyers, and a lack of market information. Others are leveraging social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp to market their eggs and meat directly to consumers, restaurants, and supermarkets. It's a model that cuts out the middleman and gives the farmer better control of pricing. So whether it's teaming up or going digital, smart marketing is just as important as smart farming.
I have people that come to me via TikTok. They contact me, I want to buy eggs. Then some people like refer people, here you go, they give out my number, someone can call you, I need this number. So I have my daily clients, the people I give 2 eggs in bulk. I can give someone maybe 200, they book. We normally book in advance, like you give me money before I deliver the eggs. And we don't deliver, people pick here eggs. I have different clients. The ones that take in bulk, ones that take 1 to 2 trays, there is aunt that manages that. She's the one who sells those 1, 2, 3, but me I do 10 and above. And I have clients.
My friends, stop posting these videos. I always tell them, stop it. They are not bringing money in. If you come on my WhatsApp, it will tell you, thanks for contacting Nakula Local Poultry. How can we help you? Of course, you know that you are in the right place. My profile tells it all. My status says, I post the work I do.
deliveries I've made, orders I have, visiting people's farms, the penthouses I've constructed. You understand? So it brings interest to someone who is watching. One day, one time, that person is going to inbox you. Makula, I saw this on your status. I saw this on TikTok. You understand? Eh? So that's how I've managed to market myself. So I always tell people, market yourself. There is a client who asked me, Makula, if I market myself and even the other one and even the other one, where are we going to sell? I was like, no, my dear. Today, if you eat and get satisfied, you mean tomorrow you can't be hungry?
The market for broilers is there. Because even if you try to move around the streets, the rate at which people consume chicken is very high. Leave alone the chicken part of it, the eggs. Broiler eggs are very expensive. They are not like layers eggs. Because a tray of broilers, if the market is good, can even go to 20,000. I remember one time I sold a tray at 30,000 to somebody in Tanzania. That was around 2016. A person came and bought 30 trays and gave me 900,000, which is rare to find a tray of layers eggs.
The market of layers is overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, of course.
If I, for example, said I'm offlaying now, you will see 15 vehicles here from Kampala.
Coming in.
I'm telling you. Depending on the price, your account can have 300 million shillings in 3 days.
We don't say no to chicken.
No.
We cannot.
No.
It is tasty.
It's amazing. You know, before I began, I went to do research in town here.
Yeah.
And I asked somebody who was selling eggs, can people here buy 250 trays every day? The lady told me, you stop here. And the husband told me, you will never manage. I'm telling you the truth. And I have come to believe that.
Yes.
Even now, you can see that vehicle there.
Yes.
It is loading the eggs, which are just coming right.
They're picking the eggs.
Straight to the vehicle. Actually, they already paid for.
Nice.
I'm telling you the truth. At times, you even get money in advance.
In advance, yes.
When the market has picked.
Whatever your scale, whatever your stage, poultry farming can work with the right tools, timely knowledge, and little innovation. This episode of Seeds of Gold is proof that hustle doesn't have to be lonely. With ideas, partnerships, and support, any farmer can crack the poultry puzzle. That's all we had for you tonight, but we will be back next week with more insightful farming tips. Do not go away, because up next we bring you news updates, comprehensive news updates with NTV Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget that you can catch us live on X. You can catch us live on the Your TV app. Simply download and you're sorted. Thank you.